I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment, and I don't expect to be forgiven. I'm simply here to apologize. So what we came across at the end of the day was obviously
after he was heavily criticised for posting a video appearing to show the body of a suicide victim.
I mean, I didn't think the song was that bad. KSI, Logan Paul, Nikocado Avocado, Dream, Mr. B. There exists a long line of absolute web wipes that the internet at large absolutely despises with a passion for some indefinable reason. Why? What do they do? Eat an infant? Blow up a hospital? Sell coke? Nah, they were slightly annoying. Okay, that might be a bit of an understatement. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if one of them did eat a baby, but general annoyingness seems to be the theme here. You probably already think you know why you hate these people, and honestly, I'm not gonna change your mind. And I don't want to. I just want to go deeper down this rabbit hole. And just so we're clear early on, this isn't a video about any specific drama or anything. It's about the nature of drama. And the, wider psychological implications and all that jazz. Carrot! The reason all these people I listed are despised can vary wildly from one another. Some of them are accused of crimes, some of them are actual criminals, but before most of the serious or criminal accusations came for any of them, they'd already developed an intense hate base. But we're not interested in these guys as individuals today. These are all case studies into today's topic, internet hate trains, the phenomenon of everyone coming together collectively to disavow a certain individual en masse. I'm Glorp and Crispy. I'm Glorp. Welcome to Memology In Depth. Hate is a very strong reaction. Sometimes it's a term used as hyperbole. I feel like people probably don't hate these people, at least most people.
Very articulate, Crispy.
Oh, I think they just dislike them a little bit. Hate is a reaction spurred on by many things, but the three biggest, according to Medicine Net, so have a wee bit of scrutiny here, is distrust, insecurity, and fear. I'm gonna add to this list with my own hypothesis, scrutiny and retribution. I think those two feelings are probably a lot more relevant for internet disagreements, but what's most important is group mentality. We as haters must first be a part of a group, and you probably already know that the internet is very good at making groups out of us. Once we have our groups in place, the hating can begin in earnest. There's us, there's them. Bosh! But we do have to have a reason. So, distrust, insecurity, and fear, they're all stemming from one mentality. These other guys are dangerous.
Help! Medic!
They're a threat. But to what? Well, the minds of the youths is one thing that springs to mind. For years we've been complaining about these new things that we don't understand, turning the kids of the age bad for whatever reason. Actually, we've been doing it for as long as we've been a species almost. For example, a clay tablet of Babylonian origin says, "Today's youth is rotten, evil, godless, and lazy. It will never be what youth used to be, and it will never be able to preserve our culture." In a speech to the House of Commons in 1843 by the Right Honourable Anthony Ashley Cooper, the 7th Earl of Shaftesbury, he proclaimed, "Boys with dogs at their heels and other evidence of dissolute habits, girls who drive coal carts, ride astride upon horses, drink, swear, fight, smoke, whistle, and care for nobody. The morals of children are tenfold worse than formerly." I'd like to say that British politics has evolved since then. It hasn't.
What is it?
Supine protoplasmic invertebrate jellies.
So straight off the bat, we've got a pretty good idea of why we might dislike a group or a person that targets kids in the culture of our successors' generation. It's a culture made by and for others, so naturally, we don't understand it. And we're not meant to. What's this kooky, crazy stuff the kids are getting up to nowadays? I don't know, but I hate it. Their damn rock and roll music and their hippie flowers. Those kids and their violent video games. Those damned kids and their interwebs and their YouTube poops and 9 cats. I don't know with this one. Those damned kids and their Tic-Tacs and their Skibidi toilets. It all made sense back in my day. Scrutiny, however, is not usually stemming from ignorance or being an outsider looking in. Scrutiny is spurred on by a strong internal logic based on your own knowledge of a situation. You see someone hit a spinning eagle giga nigga super move on someone, blowing their head smooth off.
Kill me later.
You'll look on with scrutiny. You just saw goddamn perfect Cell over there obliterate a motherfucker. This is stemming from our collective empathy we've evolved to have as pack animals. We want to protect other members of our species instinctively, so when we see someone harming someone, we want to fight back against an aggressor. On the internet, of course, we fight with our keyboards or speech-to-text software, whatever floats your boat, I don't judge. We fight back by sending them angry messages and death threats, or if you're a Twitter user, you dox their location.
Who posted my nudes on Twitter.com?
But our scrutiny, keep in mind, is very susceptible to manipulation. We can be very easily manipulated into having disdain for something despite not having the full context. And finally, I think heavily linked to that last point, retribution. So going back to our guy Frieza, who just liquefied some poor guy on the street, we don't just want to protect ourselves and others, we want retribution. We want to see the aggressor punished for their actions to satiate the bloodlust. Also, make it so they, can't harm anyone else or whatever, I'm sure, but more so, we want to see them turn inside out. Send them to prison, the chair, the gallows, whatever. You've made an act against the herd, so now you're up against the wall. So those are some reasons why we hate, just things in general, I suppose. Obviously not entirely comprehensive, but it should give your brain something to chew on. Now let's get back to those case studies. Dream is a Minecraft YouTuber. His content is primarily targeted at younger audiences, or at least people who act like a younger audience.
Thank you.
Let's not mince words here. Dream is a very talented player. His speedruns demonstrated a considerable knowledge of the game, his inputs are fast, and his content has an undeniable appeal. I don't really know what an SMP is or what it stands for, but his series got views and it got people invested like any good television show. And yes, I do think that YouTube counts as TV. Give me one good reason it isn't. Unfortunately for Dream, being a creator who targets kids, his content is naturally, well, I couldn't bring myself to watch it for this video, but here are some clips that I found.
I can't breathe when you're not there.
Yeah. So as you can see, it's just a wee bit cringeable, and so are the fans. And that's really it. That's the only reason why, by December 2020, people despised him. Weird, immature fans and slightly cringy yet still technically impressive content was the problem. Nikocado Avocado. He was skinny, then he was large, then he was skinny again, and the whole thing is just a bad dream now, huh? But when he was a larger man, all hell broke loose. There was drama, there was beef, allegations, marriage, divorce, fights, you name it. He pulled in a whirlwind of vitriol and made himself the center of a ferocious outrage because he ate a lot of food. Really, I mean, is that it? That's it? KSI made a song.
Everybody. Yes. He has such a beautiful voice.
And tried to sell kids mediocre snack boxes. Anyway, moving on. Logan Paul is... You know who the f*** Logan Paul is. Part-time amateur boxer, full-time snake oil salesman, crypto scammer, podcast host, and former Vine and Disney star. He's an abrasive and hot-headed temperament. He says a lot of things. He likes to piss people off. He likes money. He has a lot of money. It's not hard to see why people dislike him. But, like, for as annoying as that might be, there are much worse people out there. No real reason to go after Logan specifically, right? Mr. Beast, the biggest YouTuber on the planet as of the time of recording. He makes videos, the kiddos watch them in their hordes, they buy the chocolate, they buy the lunchly, they buy the merch and watch the videos in awe of this larger-than-life guy, once just a normal kid like themselves, elevated to the very heights of stardom, a symbol of rags to riches, hard work, determination, philanthropy, charity, and the YouTube dream we all hope to achieve. What a guy. And then literally everything that was going on behind the scenes leaked and everyone got fired up, but he still had a net positive impact on people, in general, encouraging charity and philanthropy amongst the youth, right? Right? I could go on with these case studies. I will, actually, later on. But for now, keep in your mind one important thing about all of these guys. Did you find out about these guys through a positive lens or a negative one? Consider that first, and you'll be able to better understand your own disposition. We oftentimes like to vent our anger through actions, as opposed to just letting it sit there ready to explode at any moment. Here's an article I found by someone called Ira J. Roseman. I need to get better at reading people's names. They cite some studies from some guys, Roseman, Schwartz, Newman, and Nicholas, called Phenomenology, Behaviors and Goals Also Differentiate Positive Emotions. Data from record experiences of actual emotions show variation in emotional behavior. One, for example, when feeling anger. Participant C1 made hostile comments, slammed a car door,
I slammed my penis in the car door,
and bitched to a friend. Very academic language. T19 screamed at and hit her son, Jesus, and T39 screamed, curled up on the floor, and cried her anger out. However, this study was done in the 90s. Thanks to the internet, we no longer need to hit our children to get our frustration out.
That's the worst thing I've ever heard you say. That is the
worst. All we need to do now is just pull up the comment section and let the vitriol flow through.
Now you can move your body freely.
Here's some yap for you from Willa Missioner. Missioner? Like the Michelin Man? From the Journal of Hate Studies, about revenge psychology. They say, the explanation requires two steps. The first is that the initial offense by members of another group causes in-group members to see the entire alien group as enemy.
I'll take offense to that.
My apologies. Respect and empathy are inhibited or withdrawn towards individual enemies. The second step is that the emotions of reciprocity are engaged. Hurt and fury and vindictiveness. I hope I'm pronouncing reciprocity right. It might be reciprocity. It's a weird word, okay? If we see these hated figures like an opposing side in a war, like leaders of nations almost, now this whole thing becomes war psychology. It's us and them.
And after all, we're only ordinary men.
I think of hate trains more of a propaganda battle, or as I call it, meme warfare. Think of old army posters depicting the enemy as disgusting freaks and us as wholesome, pure people, but replace the racist caricature of the Japanese or Vietnamese with soy jacks pissing themselves, and us as the gigachads. It's a war, yes, but there's never usually a clear leader of the haters' side, curiously enough. It's a people's war, and the front lines are drawn by common consensus. And don't sleep on propaganda as a tool neither, that shit hits like a motherfucker. Propaganda destroyed all symbols of National Socialism in Germany post-World War II, leading to them becoming the soft little squidgy ball of beer, bratwurst, and Kuchendauf it is today. The meme infects the minds of the people and turns public opinion against the idea of the person. Here's a quandary for you. If I build a hospital, give food to the homeless, and cure a man of his gangrenous toe. Am I a good person? Okay, what if I filmed it all and was rewarded for my acts of charity with fame and admiration? Would I still then be a good person? Okay, what if I did all of that, then I hired Harvey Weinstein to produce my biopic? Still a good person? Yes? No? Hiring Harvey wouldn't eliminate the good of everything else I did, would it? Okay, now imagine that I'm really, really annoying to you. At what point do you see fit to start hating? At what point does your dislike for my character turn into righteous condemnation of my misdeeds? It's entirely up to you, really. When you see a kid acting cringeworthy, what's your response? I mean, it depends on the kid, I suppose. Now when you see an adult behaving similarly, I'd imagine it's a little less lenient.
You 36!
But if you were to relentlessly make fun of them, well, there's no other way of putting it, really. That's just the textbook definition of bullying. And getting satisfaction from belittling and harassing someone weaker than yourself, that's bully behavior. You might tell yourself, they're cringe, they deserve it, and I'm not even gonna deny it's funny to take the piss sometimes, but, just a little cruel is all. People make poor, self-destructive decisions every day, and when you see a motherfucker absolutely demolish their own credibility, life, and self-respect, it kind of makes you want to just grab them and yell some sense into them, and then they act like, oh, they're fine, and you get even more mad, and now you're both in an absolute shouting match over this shit. So what did Dream really do? He cheated. Accidentally. Maybe. All depends if you take his word for it. There's no evidence that he's not lying. But whether intentional or not, he cheated. He gave himself better luck while speedrunning Minecraft, and his score was added to the leaderboard. Not only was this dishonesty on his part, but it pushed down the scores of others who'd potentially have reached a higher spot on the leaderboard at the time. Naturally, this could easily allow those who have a passing dislike of him to go full balls and drag this man's name through the mud. They got him for one solid misdeed, so now he's fair game. He could get beaten up, harassed, bullied, whatever. It's fine now. The floodgates are open. Under the guise of the righteous retribution for his poor actions in the past, one could easily justify their scorn for Dream. Nikocado sought attention through hate watching. He pretended to be absolutely mad to generate a nice stream of consistent hate watchers. He created an entire ecosystem of him posting deranged fake videos, people reacting to them and making their own videos. It was kind of like a terrarium, Out of everyone, he understands hate culture the best. He understands that people want a villain. They want someone to project their hate onto. He gave everyone that, turned himself into a meme, turned himself into the collective consciousness's image of obesity. He manipulated the memes, and through that, he profited. Clever, really. KSI got into beef with Dante DM. Okay, yes, he's been acting a little kooky as of late.
Why you stopping?
Bro, I'm gonna beat your motherfucking ass,
bro,
man.
just
Stupid, dumb black ass. Bro, your big ass nostrils.
But unlike the rest of everybody else here, he didn't actually commit any proper crimes or anything serious enough like that. He's just, I don't know, he's just kind of acting a little funky, man. That's about it. Mr. Beast's behind the scenes drama is very extensive and still unfolding as I make this video, but it includes knowingly hiring a not so safe around kitties, Diddy type guy, mistreating contestants in challenges, selling misleading, deceptive products to children, and committing a war crime. Good-o. Originally, people disliked him for the uncomfortable nature of commodifying philanthropy and turning it into a way to generate content. It raises the important question of ethics. Is it right to film a homeless person when they're at their lowest point and depict yourself as this wholesome, infallible person who commits an act of charity to get views? It wasn't a question that had been solidly agreed upon by the collective. However, once the allegations started pouring in, Jimmy's shield of righteousness was shattered. Now any aspect of his character was completely fair game. The potential positives of his philanthropic endeavors are null and void. He is, according to the collective, a bad person, or at least one who has sinned and is liable to scrutiny. People want retribution. People want to feel justified. Logan filmed a dead person. It doesn't really get worse than that. He showed it to kids. He'd have made a profit from it if it wasn't taken down. It really is just about the worst thing you can do. And despite making an apology video, it speaks volumes about the character of a person who would not hesitate before showing millions of people a dead body that they found. The backlash here is retaliation, yes, but there isn't really a defense. Now, here's a question I've been trying to answer for years and have never really reached a satisfying answer for. Is a person as bad as their worst deed? Well, I mean, I suppose it depends on the deed. But what if it's the most horrible, despicable thing any sentient being could ever do? Cheating in Minecraft. But what about redemption? What does this person have to do to redeem themselves? Again, varies on the deed. The question is just a big web of why they did it,
Money.
when, who they are as a person, yada yada. Someone can say they're sorry, but you'll never be able to know for certain. The only person you could ever know the true intentions of is yourself. If you can even do that. People really are a big bunch of enigmas and paradoxes, huh? Okay, so here's the million-dollar question. Why do you care? I mean, sure, the crimes and immoral behavior is bad and all, but what do you wish to improve and how? We see these things we hate and can't ever seem to come to a conclusion or reach any kind of common ground. Logan would film another body if you let him. Dream's not gonna stop dropping his music.
I suck his dick with a smile for hours at a time.
Mr. Beast might improve his company work culture, but there's no legal pressure for him to do so, and every other company does the same. And Nick Ocado just played everyone. Righteous anger is a useful tool, but it's a tool we all need to use responsibly. To condemn those who have wronged, to encourage a better moral standard, and to let people know that you can't just film a person who's hung themselves on a tree, but you can't let it spill into blind rage, lest you take it out on the innocent and ruin the credibility of your own condemnation. Think of the guillotine. Sure, it sends some frankly awful, tyrannical exploiters of the average person to a mercifully quick death, but it also sent gaggles of nuns, supporters of its own cause, and just straight up completely innocent people to death for no reason. When a big drama breaks out, consider this. What are all the facts as unbiased as they can be? Then, before you grab your pitchfork, consider, what will I accomplish with this? It's not my place to tell you when and where to be angry, but there's a lot of stuff in this world you could go crazy over. Getting mad over internet drama or anything really is bad for you and your health. Here's an article by, you know what, I'm not even going to attempt to try those names. I'm just going to put them up on screen here. Here's an article by these guys from Medicine, Conflict and Survival. There is data that suggests hatred itself is associated with several health problems other than injury and death. Hate speech alone can cause a rise in clinical anxiety levels, thereby potentially disrupting immune systems and allowing growth of cancer and chronic inflammatory disease. Negative emotions such as depression, anxiety, anger, and hostility have a tendency to contribute to mortality and morbidity, including cardiovascular disease, osteoporosis, arthritis, certain cancers, Alzheimer's disease, periodontal disease, whatever that is, etc., via immune dysregulation. Obviously, typing an angry comment here and there and making fun of KSI's new song isn't going to make you keel over there and then, but consider hating to be something like smoking. Addictive, satisfying, releases dopamine, but it'll likely bite you in the ass later down the line. Get angry over this shit if you so please, but remember, channel it into something productive, or you might literally kill yourself. Jeez, that's a downer ending. Glorp, do you have anything you want to add? It's my shit. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'm sorry that my upload schedule is very erratic and very slow, and I'm whispering right now because it's quite late and I want to go to bed. New videos, I'm thinking like every month and a bit, maybe every Friday. No, not every Friday, but every time it's gonna be a Friday, hopefully, if I can. I'm not gonna go over the readings because I went over them during the video. I'd like to give a huge thank you to everybody who watched the first video. That did very well. I'm very pleased with that, but I'm also pleased with the fact that, I don't know, I'm just spreading the message, you know, studying memes just as a concept. I've got a lot of ideas, a lot of things I want to go through, but if you have any ideas for any memes that you think I should go in depth on, or you want to start a discussion on, feel free to recommend them to me. Anyway, thank you once again. Good night.